Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing immigration enforcement activities, the so-called crackdowns here in the kingdom, also called Operation X-Ray Outlaw Foreigner, etc. And this is just sort of an update on what's going on with respect to that. There was a recent article in the Bangkok Post titled Visa Crackdown to Stay. The date of the article is 16 December 2018. Again, Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com. Quoting directly from the article, today the number of foreigners who overstay their visas is 0, Police Lieutenant General Surachat said. I want to keep the number at 0. Quoting further, in October alone this year, police arrested more than 40,000 suspects. Many of them were blacklisted and prohibited from re-entering the kingdom of Thailand, re-entering Thailand, Police Lieutenant General Surachat attributed the success largely to complaints from owners of accommodation as well as crackdowns on brokers who help foreigners renew their visas. Quoting further, one condominium has so many foreigners that every floor was full of foreigners, Police Lieutenant General Surachat said. By law, foreigners are required to report to authorities within 24 hours after they check into their accommodation. It is an important law, but may be easily ignored even by those who have never intended to commit any wrongdoing, Police Lieutenant General Surachat said. Finally, one further quote. The X-Ray Outlaw Foreigner campaign will stay in place, and even foreigners with refugee status will be carefully regulated, he added. So, first of all, again, the title is Visa Crackdown to Stay, Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com. And the thing to take away from this article, first of all, to me, the numbers, I've tried to figure out the total numbers we've seen in the last roughly 18 months since these crackdowns started happening in earnest, of how many people have actually been arrested, detained, or deported in connection with this overall operation. And 40,000 in 1 month to me was staggering, but I can believe it. I mean, they've dedicated a lot of time, man hours, resources, money to these crackdowns, to these raids. Lots of people at any given one raid may be detained and deported. The other thing to think of is there's a substantial number of, for example, neighboring country nationals, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, most notably even Malaysia to some extent. Those folks are getting rounded up along with what you would consider, Western nation nationals who are also being deported, and probably the number of Western nationals being blacklisted and deported is substantially less than neighboring country nationals. The report there also went on to note that there has been some criticism of this move by various nationalities, saying that they're targeting various groups, etc. To me, it looks like all they're doing is targeting places where foreigners, or they presume foreigners, are going to be, and they're going after them accordingly. I urge those watching this video, read that article if you're really interested. It's actually quite exhaustive with respect to its information. But the thing to take away from this video today is I think this is just going to continue at pace. I don't think they're going to change a lot with respect to the zeal and the resources being put into going after illegals here in the kingdom, illegal foreigners, I should say. But the thing that's notable to me, and I've mentioned this in other videos, is the change in paradigm with respect to this issue. Again, at one time, and it wasn't in that distant of the past, 3-4 years ago, matters pertaining to immigration were considered kind of an administrative issue, a regulatory matter, not really something to be concerned about to the extent of, for lack of a better term, crime fighting. I think that has changed radically in especially the last 18 months, if not a little bit longer. I think the paradigm has shifted, and I think that immigration officers here, as well as police more at large, view immigration violations not as just some regulatory issue, but more and more as a crime, for lack of a better term, in and of itself. Some of this is very similar to the sort of thinking by The administration of, for example, New York in the late 80s and early 90s under Mayor Giuliani, where the view was that going after rather minor offenses would sort of curtail the more major offenses down the road by being very stringent in enforcing things like graffiti and turnstile offenders at like subways and mass transit places. It would result in a decreasing of overall crime because the thinking went, I think that, you know, the small stuff manifested itself into larger issues within, you know, in a more broad context. I think there's some of that going on with respect to the immigration issue. You know, the view is that those who are willing to be in illegal status or overstay status in the kingdom also may be more willing to go ahead and violate other laws and other regulations. Whether or not that's necessarily true or not, I don't know. But what is clear is they remain serious, they remain committed to going ahead and cracking down on these. As it noted in there, X-ray outlaw foreigner continues. The operation is still in, you know, it's still operational. It's still alive. And so for that reason, I do not think it's likely that we're going to see an abatement of these crackdowns anytime in the near future. Although perhaps the numbers might be dwindling as more and more people have been deported and blacklisted and presumably cannot return. It seems logical to me that we're going to probably see more of this in 2019 and beyond.